Hey, you ever hear a song and you're like, what happened to that guy? Like the song Mambo No. 5? That was a banger. What happened to him? Is he okay? Little Lou Bega in your life? Come on. That's one of my 2-year-old, one of my son's favorite songs, and we sing it and dance to it constantly. I need to know what happened to this man. But also, what's Neo up to? He had a lot of bangers too. Anyways, I am Chelsea. You know that. I know that. I'm just a lady with a bulldog, a camera, and too many opinions. And today we're talking about how Neo has a harem. What? Oh, banger. Gotta change my answering machine. Can't come to the phone. Such a jam. Like that. Listen, are you listening? So good. So good. So Neo is an R&B artist who really just made me feel so many feelings when I was in middle school and high school. And still I feel those feelings as a 34-year-old lady. Neo had other absolute humdingers like Miss Independent, Mad, Because of You, Closer, Sexy Love, and also 1 in a Million. Neo is now 45 and rose to fame in the R&B scene in the early 2000s. He signed with Def Jam and put out 4 albums. Later, he parted ways with Def Jam and signed with Motown. He won 3 Grammys, which is quite impressive. And he also appeared in several popular TV shows such as Stomp the Yard, Girls Trip, Empire, CSI New York, and the widely acclaimed film Sharknado 3. Oh, hell no. No, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he get offed in the first 5 minutes of the movie Stomp the Yard, right? Was he stomping the yard? Did he get stomped in the yard? Or was he the one that was like, I got my toothbrush and my toothpaste? I can't remember. And you know what? I'm not going to look it up. I was about to look it up, but I'm not gonna. So y'all can just tell me in the comments if he was the one that said, they got 2 rules. Don't touch my toothpaste or toothbrush or whatever the hell he said. Now that was a super smooth transition. I have not seen you in so long. It's Uncle Reggie. I don't know if you could tell because my mullet's growing out. There's something else you probably don't know either, and that is that the internet is trying to get inside your brain and tell you what to think, and that's not okay. But more than half of Americans are getting their information, their news, from the social medias. According to that Reuters Institute, people no longer trust institutions, they trust personalities. Well, I'm a personality, and I trust ground news. But listen, I get it. The institutions have failed us in so many ways. But instead of just wanting them to do better, what do? Turn to that Joe Rogan fella? Just look at these headlines. His 2024 interview with Donald Trump was literally credited for winning him that their election. People have no idea they're being influenced when they think they're being informed. Now that's why Ground News is my go-to platform for the news, to be able to compare these stories, the headlines, the truth, the biases, the fact checks, and why I love that Chelsea put them on their channel. She got me set up with that Vantage plan. And let me tell you one more thing. I just, nothing? Get back under the desk. Okay, I'm sorry. Think about what I said. Think about it. I'm so sorry, guys. He told you about Ground News? Okay, I guess I'll at least just keep telling you about it. I don't know. So Ground News has obviously helped me with that guy, clearly, but I definitely do love knowing where information that I'm reading is coming from. I always say consider the source, and obviously I do mean that, not literally sometimes. I do be hyperbolic. But obviously, I mean that literally too. If you don't know where your information is coming from and just believe it willy-nilly and not understand biases and things like that and who's profiting and benefiting from you believing certain information, you're just going to end up looking silly. And I don't want that for you. I want you to be educated and know all sides of everything, okay? Even if you don't agree with it. Ground News was founded by a female former NASA engineer who saw a much bigger problem here on Earth instead of focusing on, whatever is going on in space or aliens or something like that. And so the only app out there helping you think for yourself and see all sides, gathering articles from thousands of sources around the world, organizing them by story, and then analyzing the political lean, credibility, and even those financial incentives, like I just mentioned, behind each perspective. Y'all know I love when you think critically and logically and all that. You can be silly and goofy too, but when it comes to taking in information, that's obviously more important, okay? Follow your favorite topics, even check out their blind spot feed so you can see, hey, maybe I'm missing a key factor of this topic, of this story. So make sure you go to ground.news/cc or click the link in my description box to sign up for the plan that I use every day and the one that I got Uncle Reggie started with too. And you'll save 40% on their Vantage plan. Like I said, that's the one I use, and that is ground.news/cc. And that knocks down the cost to just $5 a month. Thank you, Ground News, for being a continued sponsor of my channel. Thank you to you guys for continuing to support my sponsors. And now back to the video. Neo is also divorced, a dad to, or rather, a father, because there's a difference, a father to seven. He also made more recently quite controversial statements about trans children and then apologized and then took back his apology. Which, girl, what are you doing? Listen, I don't know what it is with like him and T.I. Like, T.I., what are you doing? What's going on here? Yucky. Now, Neo recently, and the reason I'm making this video, has been in headlines because he's just been out and about living his best polyamorous life. He was quoted saying that he shares his Alaskan king-size bed with his 4 girlfriends. And if someone who was basically raised by the show Girls Next Door can tell you that's not it. Seems, I don't know, man. It seems like a power imbalance. I'm not there. It wouldn't be a throuple or a quipple. A quipple? I'm not part of the quipple. I am not. I really am not. However, maybe it's just that I was basically raised by Holly Madison. Love you, Holly. And I just like now being an adult can see like, oh my God, that's not okay. Like this is very wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm just traumatized by Hugh Hefner, and not like directly, but indirectly. As many of you who wore your juicy tracksuits half zipped so your little boobies would look good. How many of us got the little faux diamond Playboy bunny necklace? How many of us got that? Raise your hands. Put it up. Raise your hand. I don't care who else is in the room. Put it up high, girl. Just like them nipples to the sky when you take pictures. What have I taught you? Crazy. So we do need to discuss the difference between polygamy and polyamory, because I do think that is important. Listen, this video was supposed to like started out as like, that's weird. I want to talk about that. But then it got into like more researchy and I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. So let's go ahead and learn the difference between polygamy and polyamory. Polygamy is the practice or state of having more than one spouse at a time. Polyamory is the practice of participating in multiple romantic or sexual relationships with the knowledge and consent of all partners. Poly means many, gamy means marriage, and amory means love. Okay, now back to Neo. So he's been in a polyamorous relationship for a while, but it recently came to attention of the general public, you know, you and me, after he was filmed taking his 4 girlfriends shopping for Skims. So how did he get into this? Let's go ahead and hear from him.
How do you do this?
So it started with, there's one that's been around a little longer than everybody else.
And how long has that been?
A few years.
Okay.
A few years. And, you know, I just basically decided after my divorce, I decided, you know what, I ain't lying to nobody no more. I hurt a lot of people with just being dishonest about things that I could have been honest about.
Right. So
I'm not doing that no more. So, you know, the one that was around, she already knew that there was others, you know, but it was never a situation where we were all together. So I just one day said, all right, listen, we're going to dinner and I'm going to introduce you to her, and we're going to see what happens. And by the grace of God, everybody got along. See, when you start...
These dudes say by the grace of God.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Because
see how God works?
I could have been way left. You know what I mean? It could have been real bad.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Be like, man, you hear what happened to Neo at dinner last night?
Yeah.
Like, I got to go get an airbrush t-shirt. You know what I'm saying?
The whole restaurant burned. Yeah. But no, they got along. And again, and I feel like it's because I led with honesty.
Right.
I let it be known, listen, I like you, but I also like her, and I also like her. So here's what I want to do. I want to bring this whole thing together. If you with it, cool. If you're not, that's cool too.
Right.
No love lost. I recall in older relationships, you know, where I messed up, got caught or whatever, and the girl said to me, you took my choice away. You took my option away. And I never understood what that meant, because it's like, why would any woman choose to share? But to be honest, like when you lead with the option,
right?
Listen,
yeah.
This is not. I'm not forcing you to do anything.
Right.
I'm not misleading you or trying to. You know, it's nothing like that.
No one's lied to. No one's in the dark.
That's the way it works.
You know what I love about that too, man. And my wife went, "You love? What do you mean you love?" But no, it really lets them. It puts other people in control of their decision.
Now, I do think obviously the power imbalance aspect of this, it does come into play, of course, like that is, you know, some nuance in it. But like, I do agree with that. And it's funny that a lot of headlines and news publications are saying like, he's got a harem. And it's like, it sounds like they're all just friends and they all just boink, which is like, hey, if you're adults and you all like each other and you all like spending time together, like who cares? And then obviously when like kids come into it though, that's tough. I don't even want to get into that because I have my own opinions about that. But like, yeah, that's just a whole nother beast, if you will. So not only did he go on that podcast and talk about it, but he's also gone onto Kai Cenat's stream and talked about it. And I personally do think that that's inappropriate because you're talking about the dynamics, and we'll get into it in a minute, but you're getting into the dynamics of adult relationships when Kai Cenat's demographic, I'm pronouncing his name, it sounds like I'm pronouncing it wrong, sorry. From like a professional standpoint, like what he has achieved and what he's done, like I find that admirable, but, and like I think he's super, super hardworking. I do just want to make it clear though, like his demographic is primarily minors. So I do think that is inappropriate. And I think that he needs to, even though it is like live, I do think that he needs to censor what he is putting, or be more conscious of what he's putting out there to literal children, you know, especially when, and I don't want to demonize anyone who is in a polyamorous relationship or situation, but if your brain isn't fully formed, you can't navigate that. Just point blank period. You can't. And his audience is primarily children. Like he won a Kids' Choice Award. Come on.
Hold on, I'm trying to get to this. You got 4 girlfriends, sir.
Are they in now? Yeah, man. So you post all 4 of them?
Yeah. You got 4 wives. Wait, no, like ring.
No. Well, polyamory is illegal in a lot of states, so we ain't legally married. But yeah, those are my wives.
So you got 1 girlfriend cooking for you, 1 doing the laundry, 1 massaging your back, 1 running the shower.
Sometimes, yeah.
Hit me up, my brother.
I do just want to say, so this is a short of like the clip, and he said polyamory is illegal in most states, so we're not married. I just like that he was like, wow, hold on. But also it's polygamy. It's illegal because I mean, that's bigamy. You can't be like, that's what you would be charged with. You can't be legally married to more than one person at a time. So there's that. But also it's just interesting that he said in most states. I don't know. It's just, that's interesting. And of course, yes, I don't want to infantilize these women because listen, if they really are consenting adults, not being manipulated, there's no, and he doesn't seem like a super bad guy, right? And just because you are a bad guy does not mean you are a bad guy. What movie is that from? Comment below. If you don't know, you're dead to me. But also that's fine if you don't know. But yeah, it's just interesting because like I don't want to infantilize these women because it's like, okay, they're adults, they can, you know, do what they want. But also like I know I keep bringing it back to Hef and Holly and Bridget and Kendra and any of the other girlfriends that I had before. But like, yeah, they were consenting. But just because you are consenting in that moment doesn't mean that you haven't been manipulated into consenting, you know? That doesn't negate the dynamic of like the entire situation. Also, these, I'm gonna call them men, but they are boys, seem very, like, look at how many breaks are in this child in the gray suit. Look at how many breaks are in his gray suit pants. You going to homecoming or got a court date? What's going on? Like, what, girl, pull up the suit pants a little bit because it's not supposed to go at your hips, baby girl. Actually, it looks like he might be wearing them at the same height. He just might be short. So sorry, King, but like get it together. Anyways, like I said, a lot of these boys seem like they do have a misogynistic standpoint. It's like, oh, your girlfriend is doing this and this and this and this and this and, you know, misogynistic to-do list, right? So again, that goes in, I'm getting up on my bedazzled soapbox as one does. And it really just goes into the imbalance of the household load, so to speak, of like, okay, so in this day and age, typically both parents work, right? Okay, but when, like, why am I still in like primary parent? There's always going to be like one primary parent, right? Typically. But like, how come I'm still societally supposed to be like the main parent and I'm still working and I'm supposed to come home and cook dinner and clean the house, and like I'm responsible for keeping the household in order, the kids in order, remembering every that has to do with the preschool, and I have to bring in a book for this day, or I have to do this, and I have to make sure I bring this. This is this doctor's appointment. I have to bring him to the dentist by this date. But then, guys, don't bully my husband. He's amazing. I don't know how I could survive without him. But we definitely do equal load. That sounds gross. But we definitely split like household and like not only household, but like life duties down the middle, which is amazing. I love that. Thank God. But it's definitely the dynamic, or at least it sounds like the dynamic, which, hey, he could have just been agreeing to that because this is on a live stream and like they're like hyping him up, like, okay. But again, it goes into that misogyny of like, so one's rubbing your back, one's rubbing your feet, one's doing the laundry, one's cooking for you, one's running a bath, like blah, blah, blah. Like, what if they're working? What if they have a job? What if they have a kid? Like, are they? Do they? Possibly. You don't know. Anyways, you do not want me to recite the monologue, America Ferrera's monologue from the Barbie movie, do you? I didn't think so. I will threaten y'all with that anytime I can. A weird, obscure goal of mine is to have that memorized, but then also with my, I was about to say with my piano. Girl, you have a keyboard. With my keyboard, I want to turn it into a song and be able to like recite it. Why? Why do I want to do that? I don't know. Anyways, so that's gross. Again, we don't know if it's just that he, you know, is kind of feeding into like the show of it all and like the character of it all or whatever during a live stream. Okay. But he did reveal more like intimate details. Again, we don't know if this is true, but like he has been saying like honesty is like important to him. And I don't feel like he would like lie about it. I don't know.
I have an Alaskan king. You know,
Alaskan king is
it's like two California.
That's
It's like two California kings next to each other.
What the
fuck? You got to get that mattress made.
Not Kai's face, just going, just looking at the chat like, oh God. What have I done? So that right there is implying that they all do sleep together in the same bed. An Alaskan king bed is huge. I mean, think about it. In a king bed, you could sleep 3 people, 3 adults, 3 like slim, like more slender frame adults. And in an Alaskan king, you could fit 4 people. I mean, look at Jeffree Star's bed. Do we have a screen grab, a screenshot of Jeffree Star sitting in his bed? That shouldn't be on the internet. I don't like that at all. Jeffree Star is my sleep paralysis demon.
Do y'all all go out together, like all 5 of y'all?
Yeah, absolutely, all the time.
Dude, now who schedules? Like, you know what I'm saying? Is it a
My schedule because I'm the busiest. You know, I'm the one that always got something to do.
and they're like nights or they're random?
It's random, but I'll go. All right, so. For example, on this tour, you know, I'll let this one come out for 7 days, then she go home, then this one come out for 7 days, and then this one come out for 7 days, and then we do something all together. Yeah.
I love this. What's my mic on?
It's a beautiful day.
You heard that. I said I despise this. You tried it? No.
That's what I heard.
This guy's hilarious. He whispered and said, I love it. And his wife is off, like out of frame. And she's like, what'd you say? And he said, I said I despise it. Love that so much. That's funny. But also, like, I don't want to, like, you know, knock whatever he's got going on. But, like, it doesn't sound like real relationship. Oh, that sounds so bad. But it doesn't. And, you know, scheduling one to come out for a week, another one to come out for a week, another one, and blah, blah, blah. It just sounds like a kind of like a group sugar baby situation. But like you're all friends. If they are, I don't know if they are, but like I would assume they are. And it doesn't sound like they all actually like live together. You know, it doesn't sound like that. It sounds like because, yes, he is so busy because of work, obviously. But then, you know, the traveling aspect of that too, I don't think they all live together. Watch, literally is going to say, oh yeah, we all live together. I can't imagine that they do. That would be very expensive for him. Let's be honest. I don't think Neo can afford that.
So it's 777.
Yeah. And then, you know, with birthdays, holidays, or whatever the case, mind you, they all get along with each other. I have no problem hanging out with each other. But I think one of the most important things about this is understanding that these are 4 individual women that need their.
It was harder to lie, huh?
Way harder.
Yeah.
Way harder. That's why I'm mad. Like, man, I wasted so much time, so much money.
Okay. You know what sucks is that I keep going back and forth. Like, so for instance, with videos like this, I intentionally, like, I'm very intentional with this. Like, I won't watch these clips, but I'm also doing like the research, and I also like I know what the video is about. Obviously, clearly I helped put it together. It's a, you know, 50-50 type of thing we got going on. Shout out to Kelly in the comments below. I know y'all love Kelly, my researcher. She's amazing. And I love her so much. And she does read the comments and reply to a lot of y'all. So she appreciates you too. But this will also add in stuff from when like I initially like finish and like I look at it and then like she looks at it. So there's all surprises in here, but I purposely do that because from doing the Here for the Clout podcast, which now has ended, but it's okay. But from doing the Here for the Clout podcast, I've learned that I really like going like through the experience with you. And as Sherilyn says, go through the journey together. I really like that because like I love being able to like work through the emotions and like kind of flip flopping. And I'm like, okay, I hate it. I hate the misogyny, but like I do like the honesty and like how it sounds like, yeah, you just got a big ass bed because like y'all will do, you know, fun stuff together sometimes, or all of them like each other. And like it is based on honesty and it has to be for that to work. So I do like that, but I also don't like the misogyny. At all. And also it's like, okay, well, you have to have like so many, because I know with like thruples and having an open marriage and inviting someone in, things like that, like you have to have, and I have friends who have done everything, right? And don't be speculating on what I do in the comments below, okay? Don't be you're grounded. But I know that obviously honesty is key, communication, knowing boundaries, but also like having specific rules and things like that is super important, because if not, then jealousy happens and then like secrecy happens and that ruins everything. And that is not okay. So I would assume that with I don't want to say 4 women, but with 4 individuals, even if it's men, there would be jealousy. But again, if it's not like an actual relationship, then you wouldn't have that. If it's just like, I'm going to travel here sometimes, I'm going to keep you company, I'm going to come hang out with like this group sometimes, we're all going to bone sometimes, right? So in terms of jealousy also, it's like, it brings me back to Hugh Hefner, and I know I keep bringing this back, but with Hugh Hefner, obviously, like it wasn't an exclusivity thing until a little bit like into Holly becoming the main girlfriend, but it was more so, which they've talked about at length, Holly and Bridget on their podcast, Girls Next Level. I love them so much. They are just so great, and their Patreon is so good in a fun way. They talk so much on there, and it's amazing. But also, Crystal Hefner, you're dead to me. You look like you smell like pee. Also, though, listen. Are you listening? So you would think that, like I said, if it is, you know, that type of relationship, you would have jealousy. But it brings me back to Hugh Hefner, that like he didn't have to be exclusive, but the girls did. Like they weren't, if you were living at the mansion, you weren't, that was the rule. Not all of them abided by it, but you weren't allowed to have like other boyfriends or like sleep with other people, because then you would be like opening Hef up to stuff. And also he was just a control freak and a psycho, allegedly. He's dead. He can't sue me. So Neo does talk about that.
The question I get asked the most is, are they allowed to date outside of me? That's the question I get all the damn time. And I'm answering right now, no. And I'm going to tell you why. No, they're not. Here's the thing. When I got with these women, I did not ask for their exclusivity. I did not demand their exclusivity. They offered it. They said, they came to me and said, I want to be exclusive to you and just you. I said, you understand that your exclusivity to me does not mean my exclusivity to you.
Wow.
You understand this? Yes. You're okay with this? Yes. Okay, cool. Since you are offering your exclusivity and I'm taking it, now there's rules that I need you to follow. But at the same time, I don't do ownership. Like I'd be a fool to feel like I'm the only person that anybody will ever be attracted to, anybody will ever want to see. I know that. So should that situation ever come up, nothing is above a conversation. However, in that I'm the head of this household, what I say goes. So if I say no, it's a no, and you just got to let that be a no.
Or the door is over there.
Or the door's over there.
Obviously, we don't know what it's actually like in his house. And we don't know if they are actually in his house, if he was just being hyperbolic. But like him saying he's the head of this household, I can't imagine they would all live with him or live together. But I would think that he was being hyperbolic and meaning like, I am the head of this relationship, which like 5 of you, someone's gotta be wrangling all of you in, right? Lord. So I don't know, man. I don't like it. Also, I'm not in that relationship, so fine. But now, there have been a lot of content creators and people in like the music industry and entertainment industry in general who have celebrated him being transparent. And that's one thing that I think like, yeah, that's great. But also like, where's the bar? Like, wow, you're being honest. Like, shouldn't we all be that? Or like, that's like saying, wow, you didn't murder anyone today. I'm so proud of you. What? But one thing that obviously does stand out with all of these is the like misogynistic aspect of it, the power dynamic, which will always be at play when someone in the relationship or in the situation has more money, more influence, more power in general. And then also, did I already say the misogyny? Either way, the misogyny aspect of it, it's gross. It's gross.
Are your girls here with you?
One of them is.
Okay.
One of them.
They didn't all come?
No, not this time.
Yeah, because you were backstage getting ready to hit the stage, and all three of them had to get
that was
a
actually
kiss.
after the show.
Okay.
I just came off stage, and it was a celebratory kiss from the three that were there. One of them is actually one of my dancers. She's on stage with me every night.
Yeah.
And the other ones were there. Yeah, we don't always travel together because again, individual time is just as important as group time. You know, so right now it's Christina's time. So Christina's the one that's here with me, and everybody else is doing their own thing.
And this is the dancer girl.
No.
It's a different. Okay.
No,
but wait, the dancer's here too.
Yeah, she's here too.
Okay.
But again, it's an understanding.
Yeah.
It's Christina's time, so Brie understands that we do what we do on stage, and she go her way, I go mine, until it's her time or until it's group time. Yeah, that's how it works.
You're a beast, bro. Like I don't know how you're.
It's really not.
No, it's like
I feel like people are giving me way more credit than is needed or even necessary because it's not. This is not something that the common man can't do.
No, it is.
It's really not.
Well, you need the
really
bank account for it.
I mean, mind you, no, not even that.
Not even
all
that.
my women make their own money.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, don't nobody make what I make. Of course,
Right.
The lion's share is me. But at the same time, if they needed to do it on their own, they could. And that needs to be a prerequisite of who you choose for something like this. If she can't do it by herself, then she might not need to be part of the team.
So I do at least appreciate that he did say, individual time is as important as group time, which great. But then also saying like anyone can do this. And it's like, what? I don't think so. And right there, I just feel like that's ignorant. Like, yes, polyamory, absolutely. I mean, if that's what you want to do, if that's what you're into, go off. If everyone's agreeing to it. Oh, you know what I should have done? I should have interviewed Cinna Bunny for this video. You know what? She actually talks a lot about polyamory, and listen, I don't like her at all, but she does talk a lot about polyamory. I could never. I'm not trying to do that. No, thank you. Now, certain spicy situations, possibly. However, no, relationship wise, no, that's mine. You don't get that. That's mine. I'll kill you and him and everyone else around. That for legal purposes is a joke. But, oh my God, I have one sip of wine and I'm threatening murder. But it's so interesting that he's saying like, no, you don't have to have that bank account to go with it, to make it work. But you can't ignore that is a huge aspect of this. Yes, it is. Absolutely. If you were a nobody, because let's be honest, Neo is an average looking man, 100% average looking, but he has status, he has money, he has his personality and talent. I think he's very talented. I genuinely do love his music. So Sick was one of these songs. I don't know why. It was that and like two other songs that for some reason those were the only ones that I like had memorized when I was in Utah in a troubled teen industry therapeutic wilderness program. And I was there for 6 months and I would sing that song. That was the only song that I could sing like through and through, like beginning to end. Other ones I would like repeat choruses or things like that. And I like couldn't get through the entire song, but that song right there was one that I like all the way through, babe. Absolutely could get through. And me and my friend Alyssa would sing that song literally every fucking hike we had to do, which was almost every day or every other day. And it was like 5 to 8 miles every time. It was insane with a 50-pound pack on your back. I do have a deep dive coming about the troubled teen industry and my experience in it and all that. So get ready. It's going to be great. Anyway, so I think that's, I don't want to be like, I think it's silly, but I do think it is kind of ignorant for him to say that because like, let's be honest, babe, if you didn't have that money, would those 4 women be there? Look at them. And not saying he's not cute, not saying he's not attractive, but like, if you didn't have your fame and money and were able to possibly support all of them, would you be as appealing to them? Probably not. Now, when it comes to the power imbalance of it all, there has been the point previously of the man or the like primary partner, I guess, even if it's a woman too, but the like main partner in the polyamorous relationship is the person who's like reaping all the benefits. And I do agree with that to an extent. So here is a clip of him talking about that. And this was when he only had 2 girlfriends.
Neo was recently seen walking side by side with his 2 girlfriends, hand in hand with his 2 girlfriends that clearly know about each other, clearly are not, adverse to the idea of dating the same man. Like, what's going on? Why is this happening?
I cannot tell you why it's happening. I have no idea because like you, that's a no for me. I'm going to pass on that. But my thoughts on it are that the men get all the benefits from that. What I don't understand for the person that's the second
partner,
the second partner, second mate, whatever you call them. I don't know. I don't understand what they get out of it.
But I don't understand how you even want that.
So I agree to a point. Like there are certain people and like certain friends that I have, real people that I know, that they work so much, they travel so much where they do have like multiple partners or multiple boyfriends. Like I have a boyfriend in this area or this area, and that other person is just as busy and like can't really commit to like one-on-one, right? Or don't want to. And actually Chelsea Handler has talked about this too. And she has even said before too that like, yeah, her boyfriends do know about each other, but that's the difference between an open relationship and a polyamorous relationship. That's, you're all getting together. You're all commingling, touching genitals, rubbing genitals. I said that to Tony one day and he's like, I don't think I want to be involved in that. I was like, well, okay, that's fair. That's valid. I got it. And of course, and not to bring Hugh Hefner into it again, but like, hi, we're doing it because this is that. We're here. You're here with me. A lot of people have, not a lot of, some people have theorized that like it's giving culty vibes because with some polyamorous relationships, it's like 2 and 2 and you'll like swap and like you're all friends and you'll all hang out and stuff like that. And it's more, I don't want to say equally beneficial, but just more like even with the scale of like what everyone is getting and what everyone is bringing to the table. Right? I kind of do agree that it is giving a little bit of culty, but I feel like if it was a cult, then maybe he wouldn't, that dynamic that he wouldn't be as like public about it. But again, he's the only one we've heard from. It doesn't really seem like we've heard from any of the women. Like if one of the, like he just said like, oh no, the dancer is not with me right now. It's, this one. And he said the name, I just forgot. But if she's with you right now, like, why isn't she talking? But also maybe she doesn't want to. But again, you're dating someone who is a very, very, very much so public figure and he's talking about your relationship. So are you okay with that? Wouldn't you want to say something about it? So let's go over some culty things, right? So just to get cut and dry, if you're watching my channel, you most likely already know what a cult is, right? Please, for the love of God, what are you doing here if you don't? But a particular system of religious worship, especially in reference to its rituals and ceremonies, an instance of great veneration for a person, ideal, or thing, especially as manifested by a body of admirers. 3, the object of such devotion, a group or sect bound together by veneration of the same thing, person, or ideal. 5, a group having a sacred ideology. So that obviously they're not religious, I don't think. And then more religious, more religion, and more disease and religion. But 2 and 3 really stick out to me. An instance of great veneration for a person, ideal, or thing, an object of such devotion. And of course, not to be dramatic, but this is kind of giving the beginnings of another person we're all familiar with.
Here's a timeline of the allegations that have followed R. Kelly over his 30-year career. In 1991, R. Kelly began working with Aaliyah when she was 12 and reportedly married her with a forged certificate when she was 15.
There was a marriage certificate that said he'd married her when she was 18 and he was 27, except she was 15, and that was in all the press surrounding the debut album that he had written and produced for her, which he called Age Ain't Nothing But a Number.
From 1998 to 2002, R. Kelly paid or settled out of court with 4 different women. 2 of the women claimed that the rapper started sexual relationships with them while they were underage. One said he filmed her during sex without her knowledge or consent, and another claimed he impregnated her when she was 16 and forced her to have an abortion.
Now, obviously, R. Kelly's a great example of this, but then also, like I've brought up a million times, Holly Madison raised me, okay? I love her so much. And a great example of this, like I again have mentioned, is Hugh Hefner and the whole dynamic there. So let's pass it over to an interview that she did with friend of the channel, Sloan.
It was kind of like a progression where he would like control your finances, a strict schedule, or when you moved in right away, were these rules just put in place and you were to follow them?
Well, the rules were in place, but you weren't really told about them. Like no other girl was going to take her time out to tell any of the new girls what was going on. Everybody just kind of wanted you to stumble around. Hef didn't like give anybody the rules when you moved in. Like I was aware there was a curfew because everybody would kind of talk about that. I had to ask the girl in the room next to me, try to pry the information out of her. So the rules rules are in place, but they were always kind of ambiguous and you weren't told about them right away. You know, it's in his interest to make the situation seem really appealing. So you don't really learn about the rules until you're already feeling invested for other reasons. So it's kind of this weird thing. I think when people picture my situation as being one of Hef's girlfriends, they picture that scene in 50 Shades of Grey where like Dakota Johnson is sat down at that conference table and she's given that big contract. Here's what you consent to. Here's what you don't. Nothing like that.
If you haven't read any of Holly Madison's books, they are very good. You should 100% read them. If you don't listen to the Girls Next Level podcast with her and Bridget, it's more so like a rewatch podcast, but they go over other stuff too and revisit other things. And it's really, really good. And then also on their Patreon, a few times they have reviewed books about people's like Playboy experiences. And they one time did a review of this book from this guy who was a butler at the Playboy Mansion for, I want to say like a year or two. And like the book was insane. It was crazy. And they were both like disgusted by what this man said. It was wild. They were rightfully so roasting him. It was insane. So their Patreon is amazing and consistent and I love them and respect them and admire them. Don't want to just sound like I'm fangirling. I respect the out of what they have turned their careers into. Now, the BBC released an article titled Playboy Strongly Supports Women Accusing Hugh Hefner in January of 2022, where they shared the following information. Women who dated Hugh Hefner were quoted as to saying that there was a cult-like atmosphere surrounding Hugh Hefner. Women had been groomed and led to believe that they were part of his family, said Mickey Garcia, a former director of Playmate Promotions, who claims she saw many Playmates overdose on drugs. Holly Madison, the Queen herself, who dated Hefner for 8 years and became his, it's a special one, but we're going to say main girlfriend because that's the terminology that is correct, described the lifestyle as a cycle of gross things that led her to drink heavily and consider taking her life. Miss Madison moved into the mansion at age 21, but says Hefner brainwashed and controlled her to the point that she was afraid to leave. I watched girl after girl show up, fresh-faced, adorable, and their beauty was just washed away. We were nothing to him, said Sandra Theodore, a former model and actress who dated Hefner in the 70s and 80s. She claimed the mansion hosted group sex events fueled by drugs 5 nights a week. In an article for Glam Sham, also written in 2022, Holly Madison, Hugh Hefner's, again, main girlfriend for years, expanded on the cult-like aspects of being in a relationship with Hugh Hefner and multiple women at the same time, as well as living in the Playboy Mansion. The Girls Next Door star, Holly Madison, dated Playboy founder Hugh Hefner, who died in 2017 at age 91, from 2001 to 2008, and has revealed how, quote, isolated from the outside world, end quote, she and her fellow Playboy bunnies were. The 42-year-old model has shared that the girls were only allowed to leave the legendary Los Angeles pad for special reasons and were told not to invite friends over. In a preview of the upcoming A&E documentary series Secrets of Playboy, she spilled, the reason I think the mansion was very cult-like looking back on it is because we were kind of gaslit and expected to think of Hef as this really good guy. You started to feel like, oh, he's not what they say in the media. He's just a nice man, she added. Another thing that reminds me of a cult is how easy it is to get isolated from the outside world there. You had a 9 o'clock curfew and were encouraged to not have friends over. You weren't really allowed to leave unless it was like a family holiday. Now, while there are obviously differences between Hugh Hefner and Neo and R. Kelly, right? There are key similarities that may seem obvious to me, but I really do think we should highlight. In society, if a man is dating multiple women, typically it's celebrated, I guess, and not that shocking. However, if a woman is dating multiple men, she's a disgusting, right? And then also in these relationships, the ones that we're highlighting in this video, obviously, the men create the rules. Yes, they might consent to it. The women might consent to it. However, that may be due to fear of being exiled, or as one of the interviewers said, and if they don't agree with it, then there's the door. And then also both Neo and Hugh Hefner allegedly have used alcohol and money and gifts and drugs to allegedly control or coerce women that they are in relationships with. And then obviously the men in these situations are the ones with the fame, the power, and the money. And of course, are all polyamory relationships bad? No. Are all thruples bad? No. Is it okay to have a threesome one night? Duh, do it, girl. Hell yeah. Are all group situations a cult? No, of course not. Does Neo show signs of the beginning of what could become a not great situation for the people involved? Yeah. In my opinion, yeah. So I really hope that in a few years from now, we're not going to hear these women speak out against atrocities or toxic behavior or manipulation or anything like that, because I hope it didn't happen. Obviously, if it did happen, hell yeah, girl, come on my channel. I will pass you the microphone and I will scream about it with you. But I hope that that isn't happening, and therefore we will not hear about it later on, right? So that's extremely unfortunate. Lots of nuance to it. Clearly, be careful with who you bring into your bed, what you're doing in there, be safe, and all that. But also stay feral and spicy. And if you are subscribed, I hope that you have the most positive, beautiful human interactions with anyone you come into contact with, whether that be a little bit spicy or just, completely neutral and beautiful and friendship wise, right? And then if you're not subscribed, girl, you got toe fungus. What is that? That's gross. You can't see it, but I can. You're probably looking at your toes and you're like, no, they're fine. I'm like, no, they're gross. Are you going to believe me or your lying ass eyes? I don't know. I'd believe me. But there's a way to clear that up, and it's to hit the subscribe button, the like button, comment down below that you don't want toe fungus, and that's why you subscribed. Okay? Perfect. I appreciate you. Like I said, stay feral, stay spicy, stay assertive, and I will see you in my next video.